Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Manor Road Studio, home of the Alive podcast. I'm Dale. Chris is missing right this minute, but that's okay. We can go ahead and do a podcast without her. I want to let you know that we represent hope right here at Manor Road Studio. So if you're looking for hope, we're the place for you. A couple things before I get started. We're trying to really expand our YouTube audience. So if you just go right down about right here and hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. And right over here, if you'd hit the like button, that would help us get more awareness and more recognition on our YouTube channel as well. But really, for the main thing is we hope you enjoy what we're talking about. Got a lot of things on my mind today. There's been so much going on, and some people that contact us, obviously, there's been some situations in the country that have been less than pleasant. So I just want to make it real clear that when there's love in your heart, there's no place for racism, bigotry, hate, anything. And for us to get over the hump of some of this, you can create all the opinions you want. Naturally, I got one. But I think the only way we can get anywhere is we've got to be willing to listen to people that are different than us. There's plenty of room at the table as long as we expand it and add more chairs to it. We get so caught up in our own opinion that we forget that other people that are different than us, they may not think the way we do, but that doesn't make us right and them wrong, or them right and us wrong. The way for all of humanity to get past crisis is just like a relationship. You got to communicate. The only way to communicate is bring more people to the table. It's kind of like the acronym ALIVE that we always talk about. Be authentic, love, imagine, victory, and evolve. And this time we could take love and evolve and put them together. The only way that we're going to ever evolve as society is come together with love. So I encourage everyone today, if you're posting things on Facebook that are slandering someone else, or you've got an opinion and you think everybody else is an idiot, or just because somebody goes to a different church than you do, or thinks different than you do, or voted different than you do, that doesn't make them wrong, and it doesn't make them bad. It takes all kind to make this wonderful, beautiful world go round. So just put that in your heart and let some of the hate and bigotry and racism, let it kind of ease its way out, and let love ease its way in. Remember, make the table bigger, not smaller. Let's invite more people to the conversation. The more people we can listen to, not talk to, but the more people we can listen to, the quicker we can get over some of these differences that we all have. Now, with that out of the way, I was listening to an old video of mine. Gosh, it's probably 3 years ago. I don't know, maybe 4. But the gist of it was the technology in this iPhone, or the technology in this Mac Air that we're recording with, or even this microphone that helps us create the podcast that you're listening to as well. There's so much wonderful technology in the world. I'm a cancer patient. I've got metastatic prostate cancer that's spread in my bladder, my ureters, lymph nodes, blah, blah. And thank God for the technology that has given me the ability to live with this for 13 years. If you go back 30 or 40 years, the technology we have today didn't exist. Some would say, oh yeah, but that was better times back then. Hey, I'm 57 years old. I remember those times too. And sure, there were some things of it that were fantastic. But I'm telling you, if used for good, this is an amazing tool. This Mac Air I'm using right here is an amazing tool. Medical technology is amazing, but only if it's used for good. Now, I tell you that to tell you this. God gave us a mind to think with. And if we use that mind for good, it's unlimited what we can do to make this world a better place to live. But if we use that exact same mind to create opinions that cause a great chasm and divide us as a population or as a people, then we've taken the love away that was placed in us from our birth. It's inherent in us to love, but somewhere along the line, hate is learned. So just like this phone, sure, you could text evil things, you could post mean stuff on social media, You could take pictures that you're not supposed to take. But by the same token, you can communicate with friends that you might not otherwise have been able to communicate with. You can talk to your family more than you could 30 years ago. So there's a lot of good there. The same goes with our heart. When you put warmth and light and brilliance in your heart, it's amazing the love that comes out. And all of a sudden, you're inspired to invite people to the table. You're inspired to listen and bridge the gap of our differences. But if you let your heart grow cold, then all of a sudden bitterness and divisiveness and things like that, jealousy, rage, hate, all of that causes a darkness in your heart that's extremely hard to get over. So let's use what we've got for good. God intended us to be people that loved humanity. And we use our gifts to accentuate that and solve a lot of the problems in the world. You know, there's an old saying that you can either be part of the problem or part of the solution, but you can't be both. Well, if you believe that a lot of problems in this world are because there's groups out there that are different than you or think different than you or whatever, you need to be the person that starts the conversation. And you got to make dadgum sure that when you do, you don't walk into the conversation thinking, I know dadgum well I'm right, and I'm going to convince them or they can get the heck out. That's not the way we're going to grow. You know, for years now, I've worked in what I call religious recovery, because there's so many people in this country and probably the world that have been hurt by organized religion, whether it be financially, physically abusive, emotionally, spiritually, whatever the case may be. And trust me, you might go to the best church in the world and you couldn't dream of these things happening. But there are places and there's people that this has happened to. And the reason I want to throw that little nugget in here, there's a lot of things in the news here lately about abusive positions of authority in churches. And I wish I could fix that. And in my little acre of the world, the only way I can fix it is be more aware, speak a little more, invite a little more. But here's the thing when I talk about religious recovery that I want to bring up today that I think is really important. Just because somebody is Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, atheist, I'll even throw that in there, Baptist, Church of Christ, Methodist, Pentecostal, Assembly, Catholic, please, for the sake of conversation and for the sake of growing humanity in a good direction, please don't assume that your way is 100% right and everybody else is 100% wrong. See, I made you pause on that for just a minute. Again, the one thing that I think can bring us all together is a smile, a loving, kind gesture. Those things bridge all religion and all languages, and we can all do it. So you probably think, man, this conversation, this podcast is rambling every direction it could possibly ramble. Maybe it is. But if I could boil it all down and give it a synopsis, I want it to be this. You got to do your part. Do not wait for me to invite you to the table. Do not wait for me to be the first to bridge the gap. I want you to bridge the gap. I want you to reach your hand out. I want you to be the one that says, I forgive you. Whether you feel like you're right or wrong, let's get the conversation started. I think we will all be amazed at what can happen when we all can sit at the same table, throw our problems out there, discuss them in a nice manner. We can come up with solutions. And I tell you the reason I know that. As a humanity, we cause the problems. And as a humanity, we're going to be the ones that solve them. So to bring this together, thank you for tuning in to Manor Road Studio, what I call the Alive Podcast. And please, share this with everybody you know. Get them to subscribe. Right over here it says subscribe. Right over here it says like. We want to hear from you. I'm Dale Childress. Find me on Facebook. I want to hear from you there. Dale Childress at iCloud.com is my personal email. Manor Road has an email. Chris isn't here, so dadgummit, I always forget it. So forgive me for that. But Dale Childress at iCloud.com. Find me on Facebook. Always love hearing from everybody. So until then, let's be a bridge builder and not a ditch digger, and let's see if we can bring this old world back together in a happy way.